saw that Jamel is going to step in?
Yeah, like you said, Will, this is the better. It's the better fight actually, but it didn't seem that way when I first saw the name. I was just like, huh? Because when you look at something, you like with the Charlo twins. Sometimes they get them confused and they substitute one for other when they don't mean to. Something maybe it's a typo or something that I really looked through it and I was like, because even the picture they show, it looked like Jamal, but I'm like, okay, Jamel. And it's a weird thing because Jamel is at 154. He's only fought like light middleweights up to that point, and he would probably be moving up 2 weight classes. But at the same time, when you look at who is more, up in their performances, it's Jamel. Jamel is up. I'm saying? He's always there. He fights the best competition. Up to this point, I think he's achieved more than Jamal. Plus, even though he isn't as active as he normally is, he's a lot more active than Jamal. He probably is not going through the same things Jamal is going through right now, and he's not coming off any type of, even though I think he is coming off an injury, it's not a prolonged injury like his brother. So I do think it's the better fight for Canelo at this point. But I also think that if both Charlos are, working and being active, I still would have liked to see Jamal. But because Jamal is so inactive and it's been like 2 years, that's a lot of time in relation to a year. So this fight is going to be interesting. It's funny the people are excited about it. Of course, we all would rather see David Benavidez, but I think this will shut a lot of people up. We're saying like Canelo don't be ducking black fighters and all this and that. Even though it wouldn't shut us up, we know the deal, but it would shut a lot of people up.
Yeah, man. People will say, they'll always find a way to criticize. But that said, as a human, I wish Maul the best with whatever he's going through. You know what I mean? As a black man, I'm happy that Mel gets this kind of payday, But as a boxing fan, I'm bummed that I don't get to see Jamal versus Zoo or Canelo versus Benavidez for now. You know what I mean? It's a 3-fight deal, of course. And it also kind of sucks that 2 divisions are being held up by this. Like, we could have had an opportunity to see a number 1 versus number 2 in 2 different divisions, and there'd be like a definitive number 1 in that division. But it's prize fighting. Objectively, there's more money in this fight than there would have been either of the fights that we really wanted to see, arguably. I also wonder, I don't like to speculate too much because, you just never know, you know what I mean? But I wonder if Canelo played a little bit of 4D chess with this too, knowing that, was Jamel always on the radar? And then sort of, was Jamal like a redirect? Because now you have people saying, oh, I actually like this fight better compared to Jamal because of his inactivity. But if this would have been signed 3 weeks ago straight up, people would be like, what? You know what I mean? And we're still getting that, but it's almost like was this a strategy a little bit? But, it is what it is. Obviously we'll be here to talk about it. So it is what it is. You got anything, Will?
Hey, you're on mute, Will.
They'll tell him, they'll say, Canelo, sign to fight the Charlos. He signed to fight the Charlo. Oh, man, you cherry picking. He been out too long. Okay, then he picks the other one. Oh, man, he too little, man. Like, what? Like, man, what can you do? Now, I look at it like this, because, Canelo is a businessman. We talked about this last week. So I just think that he's in a situation at this particular point in his career. It's not, it may be a couple guys out there that I want to fight, maybe Bivol, get my win back. But in other scenarios, and most guys, he just looks at the business. And so, okay, PBC, this deal right here seems like that's probably the most lucrative deal for me to take. And it really doesn't matter who you give me, but there's the factors in there sweeten the pot. You have Errol Spence, who's probably like second or third when it comes to like top money makers, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. So if that's part of that deal, I can give you the Benavidez if it's part of that 100 million that I'm going to get. Cool, I'll take it. And so I just think that he looks at it like that. I'm thinking. But you know, as far as this fight is concerned, I think that sometimes you can have guys. I think Canelo will perform better at higher weights than Canelo-Charlo would. I don't think Canelo-Charlo probably could have beaten some of the guys that Canelo has beaten, just based on their styles and things of that nature. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Canelo-Charlo can't be competitive against Canelo, because they basically have most of their career at the same weight. Mill's a little bit taller. So some advantages he's still going to have over Canelo no matter what weight that they fight at. And it may be more beneficial because he's quicker, you know, and used to fight smaller guys, where he might be able to get off on Canelo quicker than the bigger guys that he's been facing. And so he's going to present some problems. The only thing about Mel is he has that Terrence Crawford syndrome, where I think that they like to fight too much, where sometimes, you know, just by biding your time and waiting, it would be in your best interest. It hasn't necessarily been, you know, detrimental to him yet, but you can't be in there with Canelo and trying to bang with Canelo. And I think that that's probably what's gonna, you know, be his demise. Because what you get from Jamel is what you get from Jamel. Like his personality, he's like about that smoke. You know what I mean? I can't see him just trying to box Canelo for 12 rounds and be content with that. You understand what I'm saying? So we'll see. Shout out to him. You know, shout out to Canelo. You know, Canelo, you back in my top 10, brother. You understand what I'm saying?
You made back in your good graces.
Yeah, man. Because I thought I saw him cur out. Like, oh, I don't want Benavidez. I'm ignoring him and all of that type of stuff. But when I saw the business side of it, where he is in his career, it makes sense to me. You know, I understand the boss thinking that he's on, you know, as opposed to, you know, tucking his tail. So shout out to the Cinnamon Man. Also, let me see. That's not right there.
Y'all subscribe to the Last Ones at the Bar Boxing channel, man. We got some boxing fans out there.
Last Ones at the Bar exclusively talks about the sport of boxing